Hello and welcome to Season 6 of the Hope TV Network, Season 2 of The Conversation. We are so happy to be back again for another exciting season, and we've got a lot to talk about. And as usual, the gang is all here. To my left, the voice known as Greg Kirkland.
Yes, sir. What's happening, Doc?
How you doing, sir?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely, glad to have you. To my right, our resident millennial, D. Marcus Smith in the house.
New year, new me. Hey, man, y'all really liked this last year, huh? Yeah, we back.
And bringing up the rear, last but not least, the Jeff Fauntleroy.
Your royalty is here. On the island of Morehouse.
It's going to be that type of year. Look, we're glad to be back, guys. Look, a lot has been happening in the news, but I want to start off with something simple. We know we got through the holiday season. What was your favorite part about the holidays, Greg?
I'd have to always say the food, bro. I love family, but the food for me, I have an inner fat boy. So I love to eat, Doc. I love to eat. I take pleasure in eating. So my favorite part about the holidays is always going to be that menu, Doc.
Gotcha.
I love it.
Makes sense. DeMarcus Smith.
The traditional Christmas movies, them holiday movies. I live for Christmas Story every year. Gotta watch it at least 12 times on the 24-hour marathon.
And they play it 12 times. Fauntleroy, what about you?
Hey, man, it started off bad, man, because all my kids had COVID, even my granddaughter.
Yeah.
So the normal that we would do, we were scheduled to go to my daughter's for Christmas Eve and play with the baby. And then traditionally for Christmas forever, for almost 30 years, I've been doing a Christmas breakfast, Christmas brunch.
Got it.
Where I spread it out. And when I was in Tampa, we would have the kids from USF come over who stayed home. Yeah. And here, we'd have kids from Morehouse, Spelman, who were from my hometown. I would get in touch with their parents, say, hey, man, if they don't go home, they'll come on over.
That's nice.
But I couldn't do any of that, man.
Wow.
So, but my kids did make it good because they got on FaceTime and Instagram Live and had everybody on.
Got it.
And we had a ball, man.
That's awesome.
Just cutting up.
That's
so
awesome.
that made it good, man. But it was a whole new dynamic, man.
Yeah.
But we made the best of it, man. We made the best of it.
That's awesome.
Made the best of it.
All right, let's start the conversation.
Yeah, man.
All right. Let's talk about New Year's resolutions. All right, first of all, who makes them? Anybody? Fauntleroy, do you make a New Year's resolution?
You know what, man? I stopped making resolutions years, probably 2016. Matter of fact, my arrival here, I had just gotten out the hospital, and I was near death, and I got to the point in my life where, Lord, if you get me up out this hospital, you know that prayer.
Of course.
I'm following you.
Yeah.
And you know what? Before then, he had shown favor.
Sure.
And from that point on, when I came here, New Year's Eve, my first time here, 2016, I'm not doing no New Year's Eve. Everybody's talking about this is the year of this.
Sure.
Man, I'm just thankful to be alive.
Absolutely.
Like, I know that feeling. It's more than a cliche right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I do, every year I try to do something bigger than I did the year before.
For sure.
Okay.
So something different that I can say, okay, I accomplished this.
Sure.
And I set out for that.
Sure.
And so I don't make New Year's resolutions. I just thank God to let me see another revolution. And I hoist my sail. And where the wind of that Holy Spirit blows,
Yes, sir.
I have learned to be obedient and follow that.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if I had more time, I could tell you how God has put me in things that people look at and say, man, you did that. I said, man, I ain't doing nothing.
Wow.
Everything that I'm doing right now,
Wow.
I didn't have a hand in.
Wow.
I mean, there's no fingerprint of me where I said, hey, man, can you do this for me?
Wow.
Hey, man, can you do that for me?
Wow.
I enrolled in school.
Wow.
When I got here, I said, man, if I'm here, I want to get educated.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting underneath a pastor, man,
Sure.
who's talking these big words, and I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
to know what he knows.
Yeah.
So I
Well, at
went
least
to
what he's saying.
I went to school. Yeah, at least what he's saying. I went down there to Morehouse School of Religion, down at ITC. Said, listen, I ain't got no money.
Wow.
And I come from a little halfway accredited bachelor's program. If you take me, I promise you I'm gonna do my best.
Wow.
Man, we got something, but for the first semester, you gotta have a B average. So no problem. I carried an A average.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
They say you in.
Yeah.
Graduated from there, applied at Howard. My dream, always wanted to go since high school.
Wow.
Got in, I couldn't even believe it.
Wow.
Couldn't even believe it, but I didn't beg, borrow, steal, anything else.
Wow.
It was all God. I
Wow.
put it all in God's hands. I said,
Wow.
look, Lord, if it's your will, open the door.
Sure.
If it's not, don't even take me near.
Wow.
So that's not a New Year's resolution, but that's my prayer for everything.
Gotcha.
To be led.
Makes
And I'm
sense.
telling you, I'm a witness right here. I hope somebody understands what I'm talking about. Trust God when you don't even see God, because
That's good. That's good. DeMarcus, that's good.
I mean, I can't follow it with that.
I mean-
I don't know if we make New Year's resolutions. I think I've gotten to a point now where, like, I'll sit with God, I'll sit and focus, like, think about family and create a theme for the year.
Sure.
And then let that theme really just kind of filter out to everything that we do. But then I guess this year's theme would be don't go AB.
No.
Don't go AB this year, y'all.
Is this what we doing?
That's what we're starting at. That's how we're going to start this year. Don't go AB this year, guys.
Is this where you going with that?
That's going to be the side theme. But yeah, I just create themes now. So like last year, it was like just sitting with God, it was just better. And so when I talked with my wife, it was like, hey, that's all I'm hearing. It's just better. So everything that we do, everything that we touch, everything we're involved in, just be better at that. So with the kids, everything. And then pushing that through the kids, man, you start to really see how your kids start just growing and just, man, it's beautiful. So I haven't heard this year's theme. But that side theme, don't go AB. That's probably for me and some of y'all out there. Right?
Can you tell him who to call?
Oh,
Call
man.
him.
Yeah, call
Don't
him,
go
man.
AB.
Call him.
Hey, now, if the Buccaneers, y'all call me now. I still got a year left in the game.
I didn't say it.
The knees ain't like they used to be, but I give you a little shake.
What about you, Greg Kirkland?
Well, you know, I can't follow that either. But, you know, I mean, one of the things that I do, I don't really necessarily make New Year's resolutions either. I used to do it. I adopted something some years back, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, actually from Dr. Craig L. Oliver in Atlanta. He taught on this thing of having one word. You know, finding one word, somewhat to the theme of what you're saying, you know, having a theme that you follow throughout the year. And he was teaching that you have that one word that takes you through the year. So probably for the past 4 years, maybe 5, I have followed that practice. And so, which I don't have a problem sharing, I already know that my one word for 2022 is dominion. You know, and for me, what that means is that I feel like this is a year for me to take dominion over every area of my life.
Love that.
Take dominion over my family, over my finances, take dominion over my gift, over my craft, over everything. And for that, what I mean is for everything to work like it's supposed to work. You know, and to give you an example, I'm not a tech guy at all. I'm not technologically savvy. I don't even know how to say it. But a couple of years ago, I bought a MacBook, you know, and it was an advanced MacBook because everybody in my field uses Apple. They use Don't look at me like that,
You
Jeff.
need a new one. I got a guy.
Don't worry about it. Nah, I bought a MacBook with serial numbers on it.
Okay.
So I bought a MacBook, but because I'm not tech savvy, I probably don't do a third of what that MacBook is capable of doing. You understand what I'm saying? And so one of the things that I plan to do in 2022 is take dominion over just that. I want my MacBook to sync with my phone. I want it to sync with my Apple products. I want to be able to know exactly how to use it, how to use 1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger swipe, how to know how all those things operate, because why did I make that investment if I wasn't going to take the time and put the energy into taking dominion over it and allowing it to operate at its fullest capacity?
So there's a process that what I'm hearing, there's a process before you get to New Year's thinking about where you're going to
Sure,
go?
Yeah.
sure,
So
absolutely.
you put in thought to
Absolutely.
this word.
Oh, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to. You have to know, and it's through thought, it's through prayer, it's through what has happened for me the last few years is that I'll have my one word because it's something that I'll hear. I'll hear it,
Yep.
I'll just hear it. It didn't happen with me with Dominion. Dominion for me happened in a moment of self-reflection and prayer and quiet time, and it kind of hit me that that's where I needed to go in 2022.
Wow. Wow,
But,
that's good.
But in previous years, it came through, for example, just quickly, for 2021, my one word was best. And it's because in 2020, leading into 2021, all I kept hearing was the best is yet to come, the best, God's best, and you're going to receive God's best. And it started confirming that was what my one word was for 2021. So 2021, I operated under God's best.
Oh, wow.
And that was true to everything that I was able to accomplish in 2021. It was like everything that I was inspired to do, everything that I was inspired to, create.
Yeah.
God gave me his best in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's
So
dope,
that's what
man.
I try to do. I try to choose one word and roll with
Gotcha.
that.
All right, let me have a little fun with you all.
Ron,
Let me-
yeah, can I say one more thing
Absolutely,
about that?
absolutely.
So basically what I'm hearing is from everybody, it's, and I can't, I'm a word guy and I don't have time to look up that word resolution to see what it is, but I guess it's resolve. That would be the key to it, resolve,
Somewhere
to
in
do
there.
something like that. So what I'm hearing is we've all taken the time to at least think about
Sure.
Yes, sir.
a plan of some sort.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
even in mine, just allowing God to blow that fresh wind, blow me in the direction of Him, I still have to be aware of
Absolutely.
where that could be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And be ready.
Absolutely.
See, a lot of times I think our resolutions are made, but we don't prepare ourselves for
Right.
what it is we're asking
No,
for.
For sure.
No.
So when we say we're going to go to the gym, we're going to get in shape,
Yeah.
have you read
Right.
how to get in shape? Have you decided on what type of meal plan you're going
Right.
to be eating?
All
have
of
you
that.
decided on the
Prep.
gym, where you're going to go, what are you going to
Prep.
do?
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah, most New Year's resolutions fail because they're not goal based
Within
and
the
they're
first
not
quarter.
in the first
Yeah.
quarter,
Yeah.
and they're not realistic. What do you think the top 5 New Year's resolutions are?
Always the gym.
Always lose weight.
Always
What
lose
else?
weight.
Yeah.
What else?
Money. Anything to do with money?
Okay.
Yeah.
Find a significant other. Have something to do with finding a significant other.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
Better job.
Better job. I can
Yeah,
see that.
better
I'll give
job.
them to you.
Okay,
Top
give me-
5, most 5 popular New Year's resolutions. You're right. Exercise, get into shape.
Yeah.
Diet.
Yeah.
Lose weight. Save money.
Yeah.
Eat healthier.
Yeah.
And then something
Okay.
self-care. Those are the
I'm gonna
5.
do more this year for me.
So,
Yeah.
Right. So here's 7 steps for making a resolution and keeping it. Because one of the problems is, like you said, in the first quarter, it's gone because
Yeah.
it's usually something spur of the moment.
Yeah, spur of the moment.
Yeah. I want to do this, and so
Yeah.
and then you don't go and get the tools to help you accomplish
Right.
it.
Sure.
So here's some pick one thing. If you change your life or your lifestyle, don't try to change the whole thing at once.
At one time.
Right.
Pick one thing.
Right.
Plan ahead, which you always talking about. You have to
right.
plan ahead.
Plan ahead, yeah.
How are you going to accomplish
Plan ahead.
that? If you're going to go
Yeah.
to the gym,
Yeah.
do you know how much it costs to go to the gym? Do
Yeah.
you know what are you trying to do? Are you trying to do cardio? Are you trying to lift
Right.
weights?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
I got a guy that can help you with that.
Anticipate problems. That's a good one. Anticipate problems.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
With
very
achieving
good.
that
Oh
goal.
yeah.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
You know, you don't think about what if this comes up and
Yeah.
sure.
my
The what
schedule
ifs.
changes and I can't do
The
that.
what ifs.
good.
Okay. Pick a start date.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Accept failure.
Wow.
You know, a lot of people,
Yeah.
if you start that and then you don't, in that first quarter, if you don't hit all your goals,
It shoots everything
it
down.
shoots
Says
everything
I just
down.
give up
And you don't
completely.
fail
just
unless
give
you
up.
stop.
Right.
That's true.
So, accept the failure. Plan rewards is the last step. So, reward yourself.
Yeah.
Whatever
yeah.
you're trying to do, reward yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. I
Absolutely.
always talk about rewarding yourself when you're trying to do
Absolutely.
something. You know, if you're trying to make a plan, have yourself a long-term 5-year,
Yeah.
a 6-month, and
Yeah.
a 30-day.
Sure.
So that you keep in point with
Goal
where you're going.
oriented.
Absolutely.
You don't want to get on a 5-year plan to year 4.5, and you're so far off
yeah.
that you can't even get back on. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And when you hit those goals, man, enjoy yourself.
For sure. For sure.
Absolutely.
It's necessary.
Man. All right. Celebrate.
So that's good. You know
That's
what?
good.
We have an interesting next segment I want to get to. So look, we're going to take a break and we're going to come right back with That's Debatable. We're going to be talking about how to heal from emotional pain and moving forward. We have a special guest with us for the next segment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What's up, House of Hope? It's the Flavor King, and welcome back to Cooking with Flavor KL. You know what time it is. It's time for me to show you how to make.
You budget. You pay bills.
Yet somehow women like you, like me,
Are 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So here's what we're going to do now. We're going to save ourselves by setting a goal to save 2% more of our income for our retirement.
Why two?
1% honors you.
and 1% honors all womankind.
So come on. Learn more about the 2% challenge at WeSaySaveIt.org.
Today we are talking about caregiving while Black.
For those that are Black in the U.S., and we know this, especially during the pandemic, a lot of inequities we experience. And the pandemic has heightened that and has highlighted that. And I thought, working with Dr. Bennett and other members of our team, we thought it was very important to really, let's address that, right? Let's take into account those unique experiences of being Black, living in America, and caring for someone living with dementia.
Welcome back to the conversation. We have a special guest with us today, Pastor Sharice Cross. Welcome,
Hey.
welcome.
We got a lady.
That's right, our first female
Our
guest
first
on the conversation.
female.
Certainly
What's
not
that?
our
You
last.
special.
Come on now.
Pastor Cross is a
Exactly.
counselor and therapist, and she deals with so many emotional issues, from marriage counseling to all kind of personal issues with that people go through. So we really wanted to spend some time talking about overcoming hurt and pain and moving forward. So we want to talk about some emotional things that happen. So one of the things I'll start with is about 2 years ago, a year and a half, my best friend since 11th, I was 11 years old, passed away suddenly.
Yeah. Wow.
So, you know, there was no chance to say goodbye, any of that. So, you know, you go through the funeral process, being with the family, and you think you're okay. But about a month ago, I got a Facebook request from my best friend who passed away.
Wow.
So I knew that someone had hacked his account, that they were still open.
Sure.
So, you know, you say, well, okay, you know, and a couple other people got the same thing. So, you know, it's fine. And so about a week later, I found myself upset with my friend who was deceased because he was not there anymore. Wow. And I didn't think, I thought that I was fine.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit me
Yeah.
until a week after I got that. And I realized, you know, what's going on here?
Sure.
But I, you know, when I thought about it, every single thing that had happened to me since I was 11 years old, he was around to be a part of.
Oh, wow.
That's over 40 years
Wow.
of friendship. He's the godfather of my children,
Wow.
best man in wedding, all of that.
Wow,
So
sure.
it's really hit me like, wow, maybe I should have sat down and talked to somebody
Sure.
because maybe I haven't unpacked
Wow.
all of that stuff that's in there.
Yeah.
So, you know, so that's kind of, you know, one of the things that made me start thinking about, we probably need to have Sharice Cross here to talk about that. What about y'all? Greg, what about you? You have any memories or painful situation that you may have dealt with that kind of you've overcome or kind of still dealing with?
Yeah, you know, I can remember that in one of my, and I'll use my current marriage. One of the things that Leslie said to me early on in our relationship, because anybody who knows my wife knows that she is a burst of energy. She is a bundle of energy. Just,
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is. And sometimes I'd be like, sit your tail down. But she's a burst of energy all the time, right? And so the slightest things excite her. The slightest things, it don't take much. And she's a person that celebrates. She celebrates accomplishments and, you know. And so, you know, I'm a person who has had, thank God I've had many accomplishments. God has really blessed me to have, you know, achieved many things in my career. But I was always the type of person that never really celebrated anything that I did. I never really promoted much of what I did. You know, for me, it was just work. It was just, okay, I was in a movie. But that day, I just got up and went to work. You know, so for me, it was nothing really to celebrate. So my wife said to me, she said, you know, she said, it does me a disservice that I can't really celebrate you because you never get excited about anything.
Oh, wow.
You never get excited about it. It just seems like you just, you know, everything is so lackluster with you.
Right.
Well, I had to recognize that it's because I had been in a relationship prior to her that nothing that I ever did was celebrated.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Dang.
Nothing that I ever did. Well, I won't say nothing, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Major accomplishments, major achievements that I wanted to share were not necessarily shared or not necessarily, you know, enjoyed or celebrated. And so for that reason, I learned to condense. I learned to condense my excitement. I learned to just deal, you know, and move on.
Yeah.
Okay, this was great. Move on. What's next?
Yeah.
You know, and for that reason, it created a person that was just, you know, living.
Yeah.
You know, and so now I had to do the work to unpack that and be able to celebrate myself.
Yes.
And be okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, because anybody who was also born and raised in church, you know, we've all also been taught that, you know, you to be humble means to play it down. You know, you give God glory. Somebody tells you sang good, you say thank God. You know, give God praise. You know, and it develops this person of, oh, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. You know, and instead of just saying thank you. You know, and so that was a person that I was. I'm not that person anymore to an extent. There's still some of him left.
Gotcha.
But that was probably my moment of having to overcome something.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. DeMarcus, what about you?
I would say two incidents. I mean, one is always going to be centered around death. When I lost my grandfather, who was like the most consistent, solid male figure I ever had in my life, and then my mother-in-law, when she passed, she was the one that literally introduced me to faith. Right? So you grow up in church as a kid, you know, we just there. We just, I got dragged here, so I'm here.
Right.
But she was the one that intentionally pushed me to test God. And so losing the both of them, me being who I am, and I don't know if this is all males, but I'm one that just suppresses everything. So if I get hit, like when my grandfather passed, my wife didn't know where I was at, in a sense. Like, I would just work, stay active, stay in motion. But when she would ask me, you know, what's going on, it's just, I'm good.
Sure.
How I deal with stuff, I absolutely don't know. You just push it down, keep going, right?
Yeah.
And then I would say the second biggest thing that really just shifted my life, and that is some positives, but it's some negatives that come with it, was when I was an undergrad and I lost myself completely. So you're talking like drugs, alcohol, and that's where I hit like the rock bottom piece, to the guns, gang, all that crazy stuff. And I remember the night where it was like black, like you don't know where to go, what to do next. And I think since then, the negative effect of it is like when I feel that I'm getting too high, like if I'm doing too well, I'll knock myself back down. Or I'll go into my wife says I'll go into a space where I shut everything off because I'm afraid to get that high again. And when I say high, I'm like, I'm a people person. So like, I'm gonna go hard, I'm gonna make sure everybody's good, I'm gonna like, so at that time in my life, man, I was doing amazing. But a person said, if you live by the cheers, you'll die by the booze, right? So, you know, doing and moving and being there for everybody and all of that stuff, whatever came from that, when I hit that base, it's just like, if I could do well in school, and then if I start doing too well in school, I disappear from class. When I got married, I could do really well in marriage, and then I'll find something to jack it up a little bit because it's
Sounds
like,
like
oh, no,
self-sabotage.
we're doing too
Absolutely.
good, you know.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so, I mean, I think those two instances are both major moments where, whether it's emotional, whatever it is, that's where I know for sure. I mean, this is what I do.
That's good.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow.
That's good. Fauntleroy, what about you?
Yeah, I won't belabor it, but I had my aunt who was matriarch. She raised me my first couple of years when I returned from Chicago to New Jersey. My mother, she worked midnight to 8, so I slept at the foot of my aunt's bed. This was her oldest sister. And man, she taught all the guys, man, how to play baseball, how to drive, how to fight, how to fish. She was the one. She was that aunt, man, you know. And she started having Alzheimer's and dementia, and I had already taken my mom in with that issue. She had a stroke. And we were living in Tampa. I was pastoring. I was doing a lot. And I brought her in, and she stayed with us, and then she ended up getting very sick. And I was doing Bible study on a Wednesday. I had just left the nursing home, and they called me back. I was just getting ready to go live and do Bible study. They called me back. I told my wife and all, I said, hey, y'all get somebody to do this. I got to go. So I went back to the nursing home, and my aunt died while I was holding her hand, making sure that she knew Jesus and was she comfortable, and she just, yeah, I know what's going on. And she died right then and there. And I played Superman. Yeah. You know, I'm pastor, I'm president of this, I'm active in this, and I'm active with that. And I made all the arrangements, to fly her back to New Jersey, to do the funeral, all of that, flew the family in, made sure everybody was good, hotel rooms, all of that. Did the funeral, came right back on a Saturday. That Sunday, I preached because that's what I got to do for my people. You know, because I'm pastor, and I'm this, and I'm dad, and I'm that. And I'm pretty sure between that, I never took time to, I cried because I was sad. This was my aunt that did all this stuff for me. But I had to keep moving. Yeah. And I had to take care of my mom, and had to do pastor, had to do this. I'm pretty sure that pressure is what put me in the hospital and almost killed me. And it probably was about 2 years after that after I got sick, I started thinking about these things. And I said, man, you know, I never took time to even take in the impact of that.
Wow.
Between her dying, me taking care of my mother, and you know, watching her die, I never really took that in until I started learning how important it was to deal with it. Wow. And that's why I'm a big person with nature now, and finding, a lot of times, you know, you'll see me sitting outside, just listening to the birds and getting back in harmony with nature, man. And people think, you know, man, what are you talking? Man, look, I'm trying to get right with my head.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good.
Man.
That's
This
good.
is so rich.
So Pastor Cross, with this, you see 4 different stories, different resolves for all of them. Let's start, and there's so much that we can talk about with this. Let's start with one coming out of the holiday season that we were just recently in.
Yes.
Why is the holiday season such a depressing time for so many people? Because for a lot of people, it's a happy time with family, but for so many people, it's a depressing time. Why is that?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm so excited to be here on the conversation with you all. This is a much needed conversation that we're having today. You all shared. First of all, I want to acknowledge 4 African American men being vulnerable and sharing and normalizing emotions and feelings. And you all hit on different areas of loss. And that is a point that we feel, it's something that we feel during the holidays that can be unconscious. So Pastor D mentioned suppressing feelings. And do you know that we also repress feelings? So suppressing is something that we do consciously, but repressing is what we do unconsciously. So when it comes to the holidays, if there was something that happened during that time, or there was a loss, and all of us, if I can acknowledge right now, we're all feeling a loss when it comes to this pandemic that we're in. We didn't get to fellowship with everybody and be around all of our family, right?
Right.
I didn't get to be with everybody I wanted to be with. It was very limited. We're not able to fly everywhere we want to fly, go where we want to go. We're not even in church like we want to be, right? So, and then we have the racial uprising, well, this unveiling. I'm not going to say uprising. Hello, somebody. The unveiling that has been happening, and just all the restrictions and losses that we're not able to mourn with the fellowship of believers, or even our family. I've had family members pass that I have not been able to go to their funeral. And I know a lot of us can have that same testimony, right? So there's been so many losses that we've all experienced, and that can encode into our mind, if you will, into our unconscious, and it'll come up at a most inopportune time. But there's also this training, if you will, that you said, like, and most of us in the helping profession, if I can acknowledge, just ministry-wise, we're kind of trained to help others, right? Deny yourself. Take up your cross, deny yourself, and follow Jesus, right? And that always worried me. Wow. Because we're going to eisegete that text. And we physically not going to take care of ourselves. Emotionally, we're not going to take care of ourselves. Spiritually, we're not going to take care of ourselves. But we're going to follow Jesus.
Right.
Okay. So that's a whole nother story. Going back to holidays.
Preach,
Going
Reverend.
back to
Open
holidays.
that up.
Going back to, okay.
Nice.
Preach, Reverend.
We'll do it.
I really need to be sitting in front of somebody.
You know, that's that other guy's interpretation.
Come on.
But I won't go there.
So, but when it comes to the holidays, there's something unconscious that happens that, because consciously we are communal people. So we believe in being in a community during the holidays. It's the time that we get to come together and have that cornbread, that banana cake, that them ribs and chicken and all kinds. Listen,
Keep going.
Leave that alone.
Listen,
Leave that
dressing.
alone. Leave it alone.
Yeah, come on.
Ooh, sweet potato cake. All right.
Come on.
All of that, but we get together, we eat together, we break bread together. And when something happens that's disrupted that community, that communal experience, which is encoded in us as well, it brings it up every year. So my unconscious emotion, my unconscious feeling, my feeling, it's unconscious. This is something that I feel inside. All of us have the ego, right? All of us have a brain, the neurotransmitters in our brain that are designed to keep us safe. Our ego is designed to keep us safe. Our mind is designed to keep us safe so that I don't die. So say a lightning comes in here. If I see something falling, a big old rock falling from here, my body's going to tense up. It's time to go. So when y'all see me running, y'all better run with me.
Don't worry about it. One thing that's going to happen is if
we're going to take off.
You get a run, we're running behind.
We'll actually when we get outside.
That's not debatable.
That's just how we are.
Unconsciously, we already have a map of something that happened. Unconsciously, there's something that's happened. And what I'm designing, our minds, which God made, is so intricate that says, you know what, that happened before. and we don't want that to happen again.
Right.
So we're we'll put up defense mechanisms, and defense mechanisms are not necessarily bad all the time, but they're there to protect us.
Right.
They're doing their job.
Right.
So suppression and even repression are forms of defense mechanisms to keep you safe. Because your mind is saying, listen, I got to keep you alive. That's my job.
Right.
No matter what. So if I need to distance myself from people when I start to hear that Mariah Carey song coming on, it just every year, is she the only one can sing? Okay.
All she wants for Christmas.
All she wants for Christmas.
Hey, y'all leave Mariah alone.
I mean, but then we start to equate that holiday though with my mother dying.
Yeah.
She died around that time. So I don't even like Christmas. I don't want to see red, green, jingle bell. I don't want to see none of that.
Yeah.
Because my mother died.
At that time.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that season doesn't work for me.
Right.
That doesn't work for me.
Wow.
And now we can get into the grief portion, because all of you talked about a portion of grief, of loss that you all experience, right? Mm-hmm. So, and we were talking about this the other day, how you were like, okay, Michael died. Mm-hmm. I had to get back to work though. I'm still the COO. I still got to work. I still got to get things done here. I didn't get a chance to unpack my best friend dying that I've known I've known all these years. I still got to go to work. Most of us, we still got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
And our society does not lend to grief well. Wow. Not in the Western society.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, you got what? What do we got? 3 to 5 business days? And we got to be back at work? Absolutely. How many days? We ain't got that many days.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But acute grief, that's just the beginning of grief is 1 to 6 months. That's just acute grief. That's just my active process of grief. Mm-hmm. Early grief is 1 to 2 years.
Wow.
Wow.
But I got to be back at work 3 to 5 days.
Wow.
And keep it moving.
Wow. Wow.
Keep it moving. We ain't got time for that.
Right. Wow.
So then, but society also says, oh, you still tripping?
Yeah.
Yes.
About your mama? That was
That's true.
3 months ago.
Yeah, that's real talk.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or then what do I tell myself? What do you say to yourself as a man?
Get over it.
Can I, is grief a weakness for you?
Right.
Or I can't let people see me doing this because I'm supposed to be strong.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
What would you say to somebody? Because that's a great point.
Mm.
People expect you to
Get over
it, move over.
Yes.
Yeah, we understand it. What is the response that you could give to somebody that said that to you? Oh yeah, it's okay. Because what I found is a lot of times what I've learned is sometimes it's best not to say a whole lot at all.
Yes, Lord.
When people are going through, because you can mean
well. Yes.
But you can say the worst thing in the world, trying to be deep and trying to be retrospective.
Yes.
So, but what could somebody who's going through something say to somebody and say, well, yeah, you just got to kind of move on.
Yeah.
What's the response to that? Because, you don't want to respond angrily.
Right.
But I think what happens is, to the point of what you just said, when somebody says, well, yeah, you just got to get, you just got to stick it out and get over it. That's what you inherit in your system. It's like, well, yeah, maybe they're right. I just got to move on. So what do you say to that? Like, how do you not just move on and just like, it's okay for me to be sitting in this space, even though I have to go back to work and I have to, you have to take care of your children and do all these things, but it's okay for me to still sit in this seat
in this moment
and be okay, because I'm telling you, if not, what happens to Fauntleroy can happen because you just, well, I got to man up and just get past this.
Right.
And then you find yourself in the hospital
Right.
2 years down the road. So how do you, what is that, or a step to that process to where I'm okay being not okay?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So what is that? How do we manage that?
Yes, and I put my foot in my mouth several times before learning, really understanding the grief process and even how I relate to grief and what grief means to me, what death means to me. Because we don't talk about death until it's a funeral. Who died? Wow. How they died? Where they got the body?
Wow.
But do we actually talk about death and what's going to be happening We know that to be absent from this body is to be present with the Lord. Sure. We understand the 5 stages of grief, right? And can I even mention that Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who made or coined the 5 stages of grief, was really talking about the dying. So those 5 stages were dealing with someone who was dying. And we connected, and she's connected it. Not even the person that's grieving. The person that's dying.
Goes through the 5 stages of grief.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We connected, and she connected it to the death and dying, but it started off with the dying. That's what the first study was for.
I know that's been misinterpreted a lot.
But she connected it with the,
You know, I mean,
but if you think about it in that framework first,
Sure. It
then
changes everything.
We can say, oh, okay, so I don't have to be here right now. So when people come to someone else, well-meaning, because again, we're not educated on death, dying, mourning, and especially in the African American community, we celebrate. We're gonna do a great celebration, and that is good. It's excellent. Like other cultures, they suppress, where we express.
Okay.
Yeah. But we don't follow through with the grieving process well.
Yeah.
And we need more studies done in that.
Yeah.
So
when
someone comes to you and it, you know, we're going to feel how we feel. Sure. You know, if we can, we take a moment first. Right. Take a moment.
Yeah, please.
Say, you know, that's not helpful for me at this time.
Yeah.
But this could be helpful. Can you do this instead?
Yeah.
And allow me this time right now to feel this feeling because I need this right now. Sure. Yeah, just, you know, allow that for me.
Yeah.
And then if this person continues to try to push or project their feeling about death, because oftentimes they're uncomfortable with where you are, and that has more to do with them than it does you.
Yeah. You know, Sharice, if I may interject something.
Yes, sir.
What I've learned throughout this process is the best thing that we can do for others is first just be there.
Yes.
And not say a word.
Yes.
And then let it predict what needs to be done from there. You can almost pick up on what it may be something as simple as, you know, hey, I'm gonna go pick up something to eat.
Yes.
Because I've been here a couple hours and I seen you ain't eat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sure. Hey, you know what? Let me get this for you.
There you go.
You know, I'm not going. Absolutely. Man, you need to get up off of that.
I think that's exactly right. Yes. I think the best thing that I did for somebody, a good friend of mine, several years ago, daughter passed away in an accident. And I remember going over to his parents' house where he was for the day and sitting there all day long. He was outside doing yard work, keeping himself busy. I was inside with his parents watching TV. Didn't speak a word to him, but he knew that you were there. I was there. We didn't speak a word until it was time. We said hello, and then when I left, and I think it was one of the most helpful things.
Yeah.
Because you wasn't trying to figure out what, to your point, what do I do? It's not, sometimes just your presence.
Yep.
Yes,
your presence, just being there is enough. And so we've got to learn that. So
and we call that the ministry of presence.
Yeah.
And we can just get that.
Yeah.
The ministry of presence.
That's
you don't need to say anything.
Well, and I've learned, not to cut you off, Ron, but I've learned, for example, we're talking about grieving, and a lot of people, they associate grieving with death, like the passing of life.
Yes.
But let me, if I could go a step further, I'm a divorcee. I've gone through divorce.
Yes.
And when you go through a divorce, you have to grieve a marriage.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
I had to grieve my marriage.
Yes.
I had to grieve the fact that my marriage was no more.
Yes.
And that I was moving on. And so one of the things that I learned in that process for me, and that helps me now to help others when they're going through the grieving stage of whatever level of grief, is that if we're not honest, then we never really heal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If we're not honest with what stage we're in, if we're not honest with how we are truly and genuinely feeling on the inside, then we never really heal. What I've learned, I'll say that. What I've learned is that the true pathway to healing is honesty.
Yeah.
And the honesty in this moment might be, I'm sad today.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And I don't know, it's almost like you were in the room the other day when Sharice and I were
Yes.
talking,
Wow.
because like Greg, I've gone through the divorce process.
Yes. Sure.
And I was telling Sharice the other day when there are certain things, and you're right, being honest, the last couple years that I was married, that I know I wasn't doing. That I should have been doing.
Yeah.
The effort that I should have been putting in. And now it's easy to say it's because of what.
Oh, of course.
Come on. Come on.
But when I look at
they did.
but when I look at you look in that mirror honestly and looking and say, hey, you've got to own your part. And you're right.
For sure.
It is a grieving process
Yes,
because
it
there
is.
are children
For sure.
involved. And so you don't, that's that whole thing. The dynamic for your children
Yes.
changes.
Yes.
Sure.
And that's all grief. The amount of time you see your children changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all of that is grief when they're
All of
not
that.
it's
Yeah.
alcohol.
All of that.
That's a loss.
All
Loss.
is
Loss.
loss. So
It's a loss.
you have to you have to be honest with
With
yourself
where you are.
and your role in it.
Absolutely.
on.
And what? Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So that you can heal appropriately.
Absolutely, because if
Because you'll
not,
mess around and move on to somebody else, be bleeding all over them.
you will be building your healing on sand.
Hey, you know, Sharice,
Sinking sand.
I talked about the systemic loss.
Yes.
My wife and I, we had a conversation. I had to apologize to her because I'm not myself. And the systemic loss is that system that we are used to. You know, I'm an outgoing guy. Sunday, I look forward to Sunday, not just for the word, but for community.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'm seeing people, and I'm, you understand? And now, you know, all that system now is gone.
Yes.
So that's a loss.
Yes.
And for me, it's a major loss.
Yes.
Because I
Yes.
can't be around people in the places
Yes.
that I'm used to being in.
Right.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's good.
There's ambiguous, so we call this ambiguous grief. It's ambiguous. It's all kinds of losses in one.
Wow.
There's no set place where I can place it. We all feel it.
Wow.
So all of these myriads of losses that we're feeling, right?
Sure.
And I love that you guys mentioned, like, yes, first we got to process this loss, this relationship loss, the role
Yeah.
that I was in the relationship,
Yeah.
the role the paradigm that we even had for what that was. That whole reality of what we thought was is no longer. And that takes a while.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't just hop into the next.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, everything that we're experiencing, though, it's right now, it's just a peculiar season.
Yeah.
Really is. And I would suggest we don't make too many sudden movements.
Yeah.
So that's my question, especially, I know Ron brought it up with the last 2 years.
Yes.
You've got lost from every angle with
Yes.
everybody's life. Like, nobody's has not experienced some sort of loss, right? So now you've got time, 365-day years,
Yes.
plus this loss,
Yes.
and the world, I guess the United States in a sense, like, what do we do now?
Wow.
Right? Because we had the teaser last year where we came out a little bit,
Yes, yes.
put a toe outside, then came right back in.
Oh, that old Delta and that old Omicron.
Right, you know, going back, you know what I'm saying? Going back, sit on back down. But like, and people are, even when everybody was going back out, we saw things skyrocket, crime and hate, like just crazy, bizarre things happen. So now that it looks like back in this, everybody back shut down again, like, what would you tell people out there now to start even dealing? Because I know we often hear grief and how to deal with it, but then nobody moves.
Right.
So what should we do, especially with us working in ministry, us working with people?
Yes.
You know, how should we help them proceed with actually dealing with this stuff? How can we assist with, you know, not just the death part of it, but hey, like, you need to find something to do. Let's do X, Y. Like, what can we do to start assisting people now?
Love that.
Yeah.
So as a counselor, our motto is holistic. It's wellness. It's a wellness model.
Okay.
So I will ask, how's your diet been?
Okay.
Oh, wow.
You know, just how are you eating?
Wow.
what's your diet looking like?
Wow.
How's your sleep looking?
Oh, wow.
Because sleep hygiene is very important to our mental health.
Yeah.
Our diet is too. That's absolutely connected to our mental health.
Yeah.
And then physical exercise is connected to our mental health. So we have been restricted, a lot of us, for 2 years. Some people are still afraid to go right outside of their door and walk. So I know we're doing a health initiative this year. It's just to get out and move 30 minutes a day. Move 30 minutes a day. If you got a treadmill, something at home, move 30 minutes a day. That is your natural Prozac. If you can get that body moving and even sweating, if you can get the sweating, it will boost you. It will boost you. So I'm already. You see, I'm already.
You got a guy for that?
I felt that in my spirit. I felt it.
I don't have a guy for that, but I got a way.
You know what? We're talking about physical exercise.
That's the next show.
We'll come back to that. We're going to circle back to that.
All right.
Yes,
But moving.
That's my goal.
So those 3 things first.
Okay.
And then connecting with people again outside of, because it feels awkward. It does. It's like, should I
really does.
elbow, fist, right now, let's not touch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But see, that's so hard for me.
Yes.
It's hard in general.
Like,
It's hard in general.
And that's even
hard
with
as a
family.
people, as a culture, though.
Come on.
It is. Not to cut you off, Dr. Cross, but in the church community, oh my God.
It's
we
impossible.
hug and we just,
Yeah, it's
we don't know
impossible.
how to not
That's right.
lean in and kiss mother, give us some sugar. No, ma'am, because you might have outcry. I cannot do this with you today. So it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
We don't know how not to dap each other up.
Yeah. But we got to keep it moving, though. We have to. So those 3 things, if we can start, and then gather some of your group together. Hey guys, let's do 30 minutes. We're doing a 30-minute challenge. I'm in a challenge right now. We're working out, but if you want to just start with the 30 minutes, because some people haven't done anything. So if they can get a little community with wherever they are, or virtually. Hey guys, let's walk. We're gonna do this at 4 o'clock. We're gonna hit our 30. Let's all get on the phone. Let's talk. Let's walk.
Yeah, do a Zoom group while you're walking.
Group. What you cooking? Let me show you what I'm cooking. Something that's healthy. We found this good recipe. Let's all use it. Let's see. So just start to reconnect a little bit, little things. Nothing major. We don't have to,
And
I
that'll
know
take
they
your
say you
mind
got
off
if you
what
have
you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
Pastor Cross,
Absolutely.
the few minutes we have left, help our audience know, when do you know when your grief is gone beyond normal to the point to where I probably need to talk to somebody because there is a normal grieving process that is healthy.
Right.
But what kind of things should somebody look for to know that, you know what, if that's happening to me, I may need to reach out because there may be, hopefully there are people watching who this will help. And but what would they need to say? If these things are happening, you probably need to pick up the phone and call somebody to get a professional and sit down and talk to.
That's so good. So good. We need to also normalize grief, right? Because we want to pathologize everything. Everything doesn't need a prescription. Grief is a natural response, our body's natural response to loss first. And so I am going to cry uncontrollably sometimes. I may not want to eat for a while. I don't want to smile for a while, or I may laugh uncontrollably. I may even see my loved one, think I see my loved one. Wow. That's happened, where you think, oh, wow, I thought that was, so there may be times where you think, am I losing it? Am I, just kind of imbalanced for a while. Those are all natural stages of grief.
That's good.
I may want to isolate for a while.
That's good.
I may want to be around people. So there's no right or wrong way to grieve. Now, maybe 3 to 6 months down the line, if you're still experiencing intense where you don't want to get out the bed. Your diet is somewhat, your appetite is somewhat getting better. And we're saying it's getting better. You're eating a little bit more.
Right.
And as long as you're eating. But if you don't want to eat still, if you don't want to get out the bed, if you're losing a lot of weight, if you're using illicit or substance use. So if that's become a part of your coping mechanism, if you have to use drugs or drink a lot of alcohol to wake up or to go to sleep, it's time to talk to somebody. Time to talk to somebody. Or if you're still not able to talk to anyone, then yes, it's time to reach out, and that's okay.
That's good stuff.
But at least 3 to 4 months. You're going to experience a lot of things, and it's that first year. Again, acute grief is 1 to 6 months. Early grief is 1 to 2 years. Okay, and so but we're still on 3 to 5 days. You get on back to work.
Honest.
To get back to work.
That's good.
Be honest.
So and it's okay. So if someone, what we do and what I provide and what we provide as counselors, as therapists, is a safe space for you to feel how you feel. Let's dig into that. Where are we right now? Because all of those stages that were mentioned are still there. Acceptance does not mean, so when I get to acceptance, that doesn't mean my grief is ended.
That's good.
And some people want to hold on to the pain because they think that equals love. And that does not.
Gotcha. Look, this is a subject that's so serious. First of all, to Sharice Cross, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
It was so happy having you here with us for this topic. And for those of you out here who are watching us, look, you heard it from a licensed counselor and therapist. It's okay to grieve. It's natural to grieve. Do not feel ashamed. Do not feel embarrassed. But if you think that you need to talk to somebody, please don't deal with it by yourself. You don't have to. There are great professionals out there to help you. Your brothers, your sisters, your cousins are good people to bounce ideas off of, but not always the best people to get you through a crisis.
Amen. Amen.
So reach out to somebody, a professional, to get you some help. We care about your health and your health, your emotional health, your physical health. We want you to be the best version of you that you can be. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Conversation. We'll see you next time. On behalf of me, and all of my co-hosts, and our expert, Sharice Cross, we will see you next time right here on The Conversation. Take care.